Oi, oi! Greyhound Derby bets. Finally, of course, we missed the first round. I was away. Round two kicks off tonight, 31st of May. This video is going to encompass the 2 days of racing, though, Friday and Saturday. So if you watch this a little bit later, you can probably go check out how we got on the Friday. And you can still get stuck in on the Saturday. I'm going to share the screen. I'm going to pull the cards up now, and then we'll go through them, and I'll give you an idea of prices that I'm looking for on some of the dogs. I won't necessarily go through, I won't necessarily go through every single race in loads of depth, because I do think there's a few of them that are a little bit middling, and yeah, I could get drawn in by price if we were to pull the prices up. But then we don't know what we're going to get right. So that you can go on Odds Checker, you can check what prices are currently available for each of these heats. A lot of it's only available online. Like, I can't go to the shop and bet a lot of these dogs. I am going to go up to Total tonight to have a go. I'll have a bet on the exchange. Hopefully there's a good liquidity in there, so some of the prices during the day will hold up, but the right money will be the right money, and so forth. So look, let's crack on. Obviously it's Friday, we'll get Fridays done first. The first heat is like a nice looking race. So Swords Rex was 4 to 5 favourite for the Derby final last year. Really good recent couple of trials, even the sprint trials quicker 15.70. And then the run in that first round was just classic Swords Rex, just gone. But it's a half a length win, right? And Druids all going King Memphis, the dogs that he's beaten. They are good dogs. I just don't think he's the type of dog that round and round is going to improve. I think he would have been pretty much set up for going from the barrel, to be fair. So ready to go. Now, you'll notice that the drawing on here, right? Again, it depends how much you know about the dogs or not, but there are a lot of rail seeds at Toaster, right? And there'll be lots of dogs that probably don't want to run out of one, but they'll give them a rail seed because there's so many railers, they get pushed out. So Swords Rex doesn't have a seeding on him. You look at Trap 6, Savannah Aurora is a middle seed. It's pretty tricky to see on these bits on the screen because it goes quite small, but here, 3 of her last 4 runs have come out of Trap 1. Bang railer, right? The perk that Swords Rex has with a dog like this is that she's a slow start, so she shouldn't affect Swords Rex to the bend. And Trap 4 is also a railer as well, so that's going to move in. Everything's basically been moving in, but Swords Rex should hopefully trap or show enough early to get gone. So he's going to be a short price favourite, the most likely winner of the race. But I do want to give a little bit of a mention, right, to Gary the Arb. Now, he's going to be a big price. He's 12 to 1, I think, available with bookies. I'm hoping I can get bigger on the exchange. This dog, I do think, is pretty quick, right? He hasn't had that many races, but he's been on the go for a little while, since sort of Christmas time, I think, was when he won his maiden down at Hove. But he ran a couple of weeks ago and just got knocked all about. You could never really tell how quick he was going to be. He didn't have a prep run round him before that. Then in the first round of the Derby, he was in 3, but 4 and 2 both sort of squished him out the boxes. He then had to sit in behind. He raced a little bit wide at places. He did run on, but he was never really threatening to win the race, but did a 29.32, right? So in dog length terms, 0.08 is a length. He's about 4 lengths slower than Swords Rex was last week in that first round. But there are excuses and reasons to suggest that he would not necessarily, in a clean run race, be 4 lengths slower than a Swords Rex, right? I don't have him as a 12 to 1 poke in here. I'd have him as about a 6 to 1 poke. So it's not huge value. But this Scaglietti in 2 should lead him up. So I'm hoping that Gary the Arb can come out sort of evenly. Yes, I know the 4 might move in a bit as well. So there is a chance that he could get the sort of crowded start again. But he does stay on. Now, if for any reason Swords Rex doesn't make the bend, whether it's a slow start, whether when he moves across another dog sort of bumps him, or whatever it is, yes, he's a very fast dog, but Gary the Arb is the type of dog that could pick him up after that. Now, there are other stayers, and the Havana Top Note in 1 will be the obvious one that people will think, actually, this dog might just scoot around on the inside. Stays is probably the one to be on. But that's about 7 to 2 poke, I think. I'm going to take a small swing on Gary the Arb, and it's been about 4 minutes of me talking, and we've talked about a loose bet in there. But Gary the Arb, I think, quite a nice dog. It's a bit punty, but he's 12 to 1, so I think I made enough of a case in there. Second heat, it's an interesting one. The seeding's better in this one because we have got a wide dog in it, and even the middle dog Fair Joe is happy enough in 5. McNeil will be happy enough in 4 as well. So we're going to have a cleaner run rate to the bend. The only thing is New in Sid that is drawn in 1. We'll be fine there. but led last time and got picked up, which was a little bit disappointing. Now, I'd be tempted to bet him because I think he'll lead up the 2, and then I'd sort of hope that he would stay a bit better. But I don't know. He's been a short runner in the past before. I'd be worried slightly, especially considering he came out so well. He might get beat. So he's going to be a short price favourite that could oblige, but I'm a little bit loose on him. But I don't really see anything that's worth going in, right? Where I talked about the 4 lengths that Gary the Arab's got to find with a bit of a clear run. You've got dogs in there, say, for example, the 6 that are basically 7 lengths behind with clear runs. So it's a lot to make up in it. So we're leaving that one alone. Third heat is another race where I don't want to have a bet in it. King Memphis did the clock last week. Fantastic run. Looks like the most likely winner. It's not the easiest, most straightforward of races, but, you know, derbies will never be like that, especially the deeper they get. But good looking race, that one. Heat 4 looks like, arguably, I would say the heat of the night in terms of competitiveness. It's going to be 3-1 bar the field. It's going to be reasonable prices in it. And I do think, looking at this one, it has got the makeup to have issue, I would say. So, Gaytime Nemo won the Derby last year. Loved the dog. Got my hanging off the wall. You've seen him in the background in a few videos before. I think it was as good as he could, well, as good as he will go to a bend last week. And I don't think he's consistently going to keep doing that. When he ran on his penultimate start, Herrera Convey beat him. It was a good run, but still looked a bit, I'm not short of fitness, but like he was capable of a bit better than that. But again, that was a reasonable enough start, okay? Bocco's Thunder in 2 is probably going to give him lots of space on the inside, but I think could get to the bend as quick or quicker than him. And I know he did move off last week, but there's a chance that this dog dips to the rails at the bend and Nemo doesn't get round. But Nemo probably would get round, to be fair. Bay Point Susie in 3 is the other dog, right? That this dog probably could lead both of them up, and I think that would bang into the rail. So I think there's potential that the 3 on the inside could sort of move in. Emuel Boy's the same in 4. Very, I say, more erratic at the boxes. Has got 406 as low in there. It's got as high as a 425. If it does one of its faster times, it's going to get worryingly close on the inside, but it's going to go rails. And if it does one of its slower starts, well, it's nowhere near any of them, right? Ballymac Sinan that ran last week, I was very, very, very impressed with. A significant step up on time from the trial, which was 29.40, then did 28.90. Now, a dog to improve that much normally would seem a little bit suspicious. Maybe the clock was a bit fast. Or in this instance, it's first look at Toaster, which is a hard track to run first time round. 405, 407 sectionals. They are consistent. The dog is happy out as wide as he is. I think he's got an absolute plum draw. And we talk about times in here, right? Gaytime Nemo that ran last week, yes, could have gone a little bit quicker, but did 29.14. Bay Point Susie that could cut and lead, which did 29.09, 29.03. Ballymac Shannon's a length and a half ahead of both of those, if not 2.5 lengths ahead of Gaytime Nemo. And when those dogs are going to move in, yes, they could move, they could bounce and potentially not have an impact where they move out wide. But Ballymac Shannon's could actually just scoot round the outside of all of them. And if there's any trouble with any of them, they've already got some time to find up, so they can't do it. The 6 dog King Coombs is a nice dog, right? He will stay out of trouble on the outside and he will stay on. He's the type of dog to keep qualifying. Now, he was only sort of 3/4 of a length slower than Ballymac Shannon's, so he would potentially pick up all the pieces. However, I think 5 and 6 could go round together, and then it's a bit of a race between the 2 of them down the back straight. You'd probably fancy King Coombs to pick him up, but then King Coombs might not ping like he did last week. And I do think that if there's going to be trouble and dogs are going to get bounced out, then if Shannon's going to get knocked, then King Coombs definitely is, because he'll be a little bit behind him. So I'll take the punt that Ballymac Shannon's going to be there. I think he's about 3 or 4-1 with the bookies at the moment. I'd happily bet him at 4-1. I'd probably look at him about 3-1-ish chance. So we can get 4-1 or bigger. I'd take a play, but there are risks attached, right? So the first couple of ones I suggested are, I'd say, reasonable enough prices in terms of greyhounds. Heat 5, another nice looking race, but I don't know how to have the confidence in 5 that I think you would need to have to bet him probably at the price that he's going to be. So 2 will be okay where he is. 1, 3, and 4 want to be definitely on the rails. The 6 dog isn't fast enough on those recent times. The 29.30, 29.30 wouldn't be fast enough to be like a derby candidate. But in the scope of this race, only 4 and 5 have gone quicker. And Blake's Delight on 3 runs back did actually do 29.18, which would be as quick as all of these. So good draw on the outside, but I do think that Road Exile will get gone, and I think it'll be a hard one to peg back. But I'm just not overly sold, again, on that time perspective. I think Blake Delight could back run it. I wouldn't want to pick between the 2 of them. I don't think there's going to be much scope in the price. So there's options to bet, right? So that's my sort of view on that one, but I won't play that one. Heat 6 is a race where 2, 4, and 6 are going to be some clash, right? This is a hard one for me because I think I'm going to have a bet in this. And the reason why I think I'm going to have a bet in this one is we talk about times, right? Deladida is a very, very, very fast dog. First look round the track did 29.38. Now, there are some dogs that have done some quick times too, but that 29.38, let me just put this into context of the rest of them. The one dog's done 29.71 as a recent time. King Capaldi did 29.35 last time out. Droopers Viva City has done 29.30s. A lot of them did a trial and did 28.95, but it's unlikely to do that in a race. Beatty Sparkle did 29.40s, and the 6-dog Churchfield Sid did a 29.25 and has got 29.38 in there as well. So basically, Deladila first look is more than mixing it with these. Then last week, did miss the trouble. It's not exactly the quickest up the traps, but does show a bit of early pace. Missed a load of trouble and did 28.78. That is sort of, we're talking 50 spots quicker than what these dogs can do. And as I said, it was 0.08 against that. We're talking 5-6 lengths quicker than some of these dogs might be capable of running, right? Droopy's Viva City in 3 is a very slow starter. There is no way Deladida doesn't lead that dog up. 5 will stay 5 as far as I'm concerned. That's not going to cut across and shouldn't, I mean, it can ping, but shouldn't be leading Deladida in the early battles. Early pace, Deladida does that one. And Churchfield Sid should stay out nice and wide. King Capaldi potentially will want to ping and could potentially, will definitely be able to pick up on the time that it did last time, but would need to bolt ping to get gone. Now, he's got a really good draw. He should get on the bunny and should be able to front run these. And then it's a question of, well, does Deladida turn close enough and do Churchfield Sid turn close enough? I just think, right, Deladida, I think King Capaldi is about even money. Deladida is about 7-4. I think that is bettable. I think should be probably about 6-4-ish poke. So if we're getting 2-1 or bigger on the exchanges, I'll be back in Deladida. I think that's got a chance. I do respect Churchfield on the outside. I think he's got like a nice makeup for it, but I think Deladida could actually come with a quicker section than the 420s that he's done. And in doing so, batters these. Heat 7, a real nice race. And there loads of people have talked about Colombian Treaty as a dog. We're impressed that it was a good winner last time. 130 for, they were saying, for a Kirby winner is like a pretty reasonable price. Makeup of this looks tricky. So again, I've touched on some times in this race. We've got dogs in there that have done 28.80s, 29 deads, 29 deadish, and then he's done 29.20. So I like him. He's attractive for a long-term profile. But in terms of this race, I'd be happy to leave it alone. I think JT Etienne in 3, if I was forced to have a bet, would be the one I'd be looking at. But Super Fast Gordon in 4 does tend to ping. And in trapping could move across and cause a little bit of a sort of scrimmaging. But yeah, it looks a nice race. Heat 8, the last race for Friday. This is where my strongest fancy of the night's going to be, because the other Kobe that won the Irish Derby, we weren't expecting him to come and be racing again. He trialled, did 29.35 first look, which is decent. Did a 28.97 when smashing out the boxes. And they did 29.23 first round last week. He did 3.99 and he did a 3.97 in that trial. Like, these are unfathomable speeds to the bend that other dogs wouldn't be able to do. Now, I say that the 6-dog Glengar Martha did a 3.90 last week, but in a trial did a 4.29, right? That I don't think this Glengar Martha can do that faster sectional again. She absolutely flew the lids. And obviously, if she does do that again, she's going to run a fast time, but I do not believe that she's going to be able to do that. Now, Hawkfield Blue in 4 will want to go to the rails. Vixen's Bagheera in 3 will want to go to the rails as well. And they can trap out the box as well. Unless Kobe misses the kick, he has so much pace to the bend that I think he goes round. There is a bit of pace on the inside as well, but like, it's one of these, it's a draw. It's a race to the first bend. If the other Kobe gets on the bunny, he runs these ragged as far as I'm concerned. If there is lots of trouble in there, then, well, who knows how the race would unfold after that. You would probably think that Wolf Moon is a back runny type dog, but then he's still got to find his way through all of these. So I think the other Kobe probably warrants being odds on. And I think he's about even money top price. There might be 11 to 10 about him. I think I don't know. I'm hoping I can sneak some 6-4 on the exchange or on the track tonight. So I will bet him odds against sort of 5-4 or bigger. I appreciate there's risks attached, but I think we're getting a price about him because on paper, you read quick away comments from 3. You see Rails comments against these types of dogs. You see the 6 to the 3.90. You can see the one dog's got a very quick away in there as well, but that's at Oxford, a different track. I think people are reading into it thinking that the other Kobe has got lots of challenging for the first bend. But if the other Kobe does what he needs to do, which is come out the boxes on either of his last two starts, the 399 or the 397, he wins, and he wins well. Lots of dogs trap well out of two. I just think that again he's being priced a bit generously for my liking, so we're going to get stuck into the other Kobe. That's Friday done. 15 minutes in. Let's see how quick we can get through it. It's not a rush, is it? It's not a race, but kind of is a little bit. Anyway, right, the first heat on Saturday. I might end up having a bet in here as well. So Clona Curly's a dog I really do like. Won nice enough last week. I'm kind of hoping he'd be quicker than 29.24, but his style that he runs, unless a dog gets on the bunny, it's going to be hard to do a sub 29 at Toaster. Speaking of getting on the bunny, Unreal Bruiser is also owned by Kevin Booby, also trained by Diane Harry. I think this gets on the bunny. As all right in 3, I think can go to the bend quite quickly as well. But I just think Unreal Bruiser, 28.91 he did in the trial, 28.91 he did in the race last week. If you look at his 2-bend trial, he did 16.03. There are lots of dogs that will be doing 15 somethings. So he's not that quick to the bend. But this is a race where none of them really are. Clona Cody did do a 4.05 last week, but a finishing time of 29.41. Unreal Bruiser would be able to back run that one. So typically in a derby, there's more sort of pace to the bend. I think Unreal Bruiser actually just gets to the bend in front in this particular instance. I think he wins. I think you can get 2 to 1 about him, which I think is fair. Maybe we'll see if he gets a 5-2 or 3 to 1 about him, but I'd bet him at sort of 5-2, 3 to 1. Heat 10, Barntic Bear, like really do like this dog. Now he's an interesting one because did 28.78, real fast time in that first round. Does have lots of early pace, and I think he's got the chance to be able to sort of trap as well, or if not better than he did last time. So I think he's got a faster section in him, but he's also got slower sectionals in him as well on his day. And the 3 dog is a sort of ping gone type dog. First round, I think a few dogs were doing out of 3. It's like the old one for Crave the box when they ping out of the 3 again. But I just think that he's gonna have to back run this high trend, which I think he can do. But I can see him getting a little bit scrimmaging in there. The 4 wants to be where he is, so he will run better than he did last week. He did a 29.38 in a trial, and he did a 29.21 last week after being on the inside but wanting to come across a little bit. So I expect a big run from Merit's inclusion. Droopy Supply probably could be in and around there at the bend, but I don't think he's actually quick enough. And Banana Boda Red, we know how good he was before. We had like tons and tons of early, but I just don't think he's the same dog anymore. So there's a chance for me that 4 could win this, but there would need to be trouble from the others. Barntic Bear's the fastest dog in the race, but we'll just have to see who gets a clear run. So I can't have a bet in it, but I've talked about it enough, right? Heat 11, a race where you'll be able to look at these sectionals, you'll be able to look at the finishing times. I don't know how I could pick between 5 and 2 in this race, because I think 2 gets round the inside. Now 3 will ping and 3 will go rouse to middleish, but I think there's a chance that 2 can sneak in front of 1 at the bend. Would need a bit of a clear run, but got lots of trouble and still does quite quick times. Now, if this dog manages to get around the first bend, it beats these. If it doesn't, it doesn't. As simple as that. Now, Fay Point Harvey's got a 3.96 in there. Did a 4.19 last week, which is not good enough, but should trap again. And Fay Point Harvey will happily stay in 4. I don't know if Antigua Hort's going to keep banging out these 4.04 that he did last week, so I'd question that. But there are 3 dogs that are very, very good sub 29 dogs in there, and then some of the other dogs in here as well. Well, they're all 29.30s. They would win other heats, so real competitive race. That good one to watch. Heat 12. Don't have a bet in this. Ryoka Joey being in 2 is much, much, much more interesting, because last year he bombed the first round after being well backed. I think it was first round, or maybe second round. Maybe it was first. I think it was first. And he did the same last week. It was in trap 5, and he can ping, he can go to the bend. Now, his sectional should see him hopefully get round. Crafty Shivo in 3 goes to the bend quite quickly too. We'd just be interested to see how he just flies out the 2 box. I think Ryoka Joey's got a chance. I couldn't bet him. I could never bet him a Toaster. But yeah, I would probably look to leave that race alone. Ballymac Slick in 5 does have a faster section win than last week, and did actually run quite well, improved from that first look round it. So he would be a really interesting one, because I think a lot of these on the inside could scrimmage, and he's not that far behind him on sectionals that you couldn't see him going around second or third, or maybe even leading if there was enough trouble. So we'd have to see, but I mean, there's a few that have got a chance. You see, I've mentioned a few there. Heat 13, I'd bet the 6 if you get a fair price on him, but you won't get a fair price on him, so I'd leave the race alone. I thought he ran really well last week. He's an absolute engine. There's going to be scrimmaging and stuff. I don't know if he will get a clear run, so I'd leave him alone. He's going to be short. I wouldn't touch him, but I think he's the best dog in the race. Tricky one, should qualify. Maybe that's all some people are worried about. This is a race, Heat 14, where I'm possibly stupidly going to have an interest, right? Time-wise, again, I'll just quickly skim through a few of these. Now, there is a bit of trouble for some of these, but Savannah Jackpot has flown a real fast time in over races, 28.78, right? That was when it ran out of track 2. It's in 6 in this heat. So does have lots of ability, but I don't see it reproducing that anytime soon, right? Queen Leonie in 5. I don't want her in 5 ideally. She probably wants to be in 4-3, so she's not miles off of it, but she stays. I don't know. Again, I'd rather see her on the bunny to do a time. I don't think she will be. Glorious Tom in 4 has mixed bags with his start, and even when he traps, doesn't even have the fastest extra. So I think he's missing the early to get to the bend. Hawkfield Abbey in 3 is a million to hit the first bend in front, but who knows? Stranger things have potentially happened. Has got a bit of early, got a bit of a crowded start last week, but I'm not sold on that one. Jim by 2, which is track 1, did get bits of trouble, but I don't believe he's got anywhere near the ability to win a race like this. A 4:12 and a 4:20 aren't the quickest, and Irish Trials as well doesn't go to the bend that quick. Ballymac Finn, though, right? He's a dog that he's done a 28.28 at Tralee 525. This one dog, Trim by 2 at Tralee, did 28.71. Like, there's a significant gulf in class. This dog, Ballymac Finn, last week, tiny bit of trouble, wasn't massive. He did 29.16, which is the fastest he's ever run at this track. Now, he never really got the scruff of the race by the scruff of the neck last year in any of the rounds. Was supporting a few of them. I think I'd bet him. I think he's going to be, I don't know, 2-1, 3-1, maybe it might even be bigger than that. But I think in this type of race, he might be able to come into his own. There is always risk attached with this dog. It's just one of those. Isn't the most prolific for my liking, but I can see him getting on the bunny. And I can see him getting on the bunny, and I can't see anything possibly back running him. So I'll have a play on Ballymac Finn. I'd keep it small, even though the price might lure me in for more. But the bigger the price he gets, the more I take in return from the stake, as opposed to having more stake on there. Heat 15, Antigua Kestrel, I do quite like, but I don't see how he gets a run to the bend. So we'll just skip on from that race. Heat 16. I don't think there wasn't one that I liked in there, to be fair, in terms of a betting perspective, and that's the end of them. So a few bets started about a few of them in there. I appreciate this is a different bit of content and it's a bit in there, but I said to you guys I'd mention some of the dogs that I'm doing. Probably across all of those that we're talking about, it is hard, but I really do. Swords Rex will probably win, and Gary the Yard might come second, but I think Gary the Yard, the makeup of the race, right, again, I could be reading it in my head too much, visualizing it a bit too much, but I think Gary the Yard's got a small chance, but you would need Swords Rex to be in trouble at the first bend, which obviously we don't want to be predicting or going for. I do think Delar, if you're going 2-1 plus, is value, even if he's a value loser. And there's other dogs that can go to the bend quicker than him, like Churchfield said, will come out the box as quickly as he did last time. And he'd do well to back run them. But I think from a position of the race, I think 2, 4, and 6 could all go around okay. And I think Delari does the quickest. So I'm happy to bet him. And the other Kobe in that last heat on Friday, obviously I'm going there tonight, so hopefully better get a couple of quid on some of these. But he's just got so much pace to the bend. I know there are other dogs in there that you would look on sections, look on that. I could be completely wrong with this one, but if he gets to the bend in front, he's even money pre-race. He's even money to get to the bend in the first bend. And again, I'll just reiterate some of his times there. He's done sub 4 twice, and he's done a 4:09 in his other. The only dog that has done anything like that is the 6, and the 6 is going to be in 6 and going to cause me a problem. The 1, when pinging out the boxes, did a 4:09, and the other Kobe's early pace still would have seen that dog go past him. Because remember, the 4:09 is not to the bend; it's towards that line bit. So I'm fairly strong on this one. Other Kobe's going to be a strong bet tonight. So we'll see how we go, see if we get any luck, and then hopefully we'll have some more of these as we go on. So if you've enjoyed it, drop us a like so let me know that you do like it. Appreciate it's not everyone's cup of tea, so the numbers will be down a little bit on this. But if there's anything you fancy tonight, any prices you think are a bit of a rick, then let me know. I'll check it all out before I head off to the track. Peace. Appreciate the support. Have good weekends.